Hi, I'm Mario, and today I'm going to upgrade this thermostat in my Geo Pro travel trailer. When I originally purchased the travel trailer, I was anticipating that I would have to change out the thermostat. You have to upgrade the thermostat. It's just, what you do when you buy an RV. And oddly enough, this thing has been functioning okay. I've been sleeping in temperatures at 30 degrees, 35 degrees, 40 degrees. So I've been using the heater, and this thing is working rather well. Interestingly enough, if you look at it, not necessarily mounted perfectly plumb or level. I didn't think it was going to work at all. And like I said, it's been working. It's been turning on and off and regulating the temperature well. So I was like, okay, I don't have to replace it. I can live with this. But then I discovered that when I put it in the off position all the way here to the left, that it's not really off. It's not really creating an open circuit. And what's happening is if I leave it, say, for 2 nights, and I leave everything connected, like the batteries and the propane, and I leave everything connected, it just it runs. So if I don't open up the switch for the battery circuit, this thing runs no matter how close to off I move the lever. So that's not something I like. And the other thing is, I guess I would appreciate a digital readout of what the temperature is, and then I could have maybe a more finite control over the temperature. So I'm going to go ahead today. The objective is pull the cover off here, see what's going on, take out these screws, and maybe take a look at what's going on with the with what I need to replace this. This just controls the heater, so it's going to be a more simple type. I may have to order it online. Alright, so one huge disclaimer on the project of changing this thermostat out. I am not a professional. I really don't know what I'm doing. And really that's the whole theme of these videos, is that Mario worked on it. Just because I did this doesn't mean I did it correctly. I'm literally learning as I go, and watch these videos not as instruction videos. These are not instruction videos. They're just merely here for your guys' entertainment, and you can see how Mario worked on it. Well, hopefully there's enough light to be able to see. I went ahead and disconnected the battery, so I don't really have any overhead lights. And as suspected, yes, we have 2 wires. So essentially it's just connect those 2 wires and the heater goes to town. You can see that it's apparent here on the face. Essentially we have those 2 wires, and I need to connect those 2 wires and have them connected via a thermostat. So I went, looked around, and I found one online that I thought might work, and then I realized that I believe I purchased that model before, and lo and behold, I still had it. It was in a drawer. And so this is it. It's a RTH 111 series. It's essentially, it's just a basic thermostat. So there's no programming Sunday through Saturday or anything like that. So on the bottom there's switches to turn to heat, turn to off, turn to cool, fan on and off. And as I mentioned, I don't have any of those features in my system. And this is what we're dealing with here, are these pins. And I have my multimeter here. Place the switch to continuity. So basically it's testing the resistance measured in ohms. But I have it on the continuity, where it sends a little alarm off when there is continuity. And so without any resistance, it's going to give me a little signal. So essentially what I should be getting is some sort of connectivity between RC or R to one of these other terminals within the block. When the relay that's built inside of the thermostat is triggered by the temperature setting. So I have it switched to heat, Currently it looks like it's 68 degrees, and I have the thermostat set to 62 here. Then what I can do is turn it up. And there you hear it click, and then it indicates heat on. And then so what's going on is inside there's a little electronic relay, and it's closing the circuit. It's just closing the circuit between one of these pins and one of these other pins because it's in heat mode. Now I gotta figure out which one it's using. Let's see, this case goes on a certain way here. Let me see. It goes on this way. So all things being equal, this should be R or RC, these two here, and then I should be looking for a circuit over here. These two pins here are the ones that I'm looking at. So I got the second one from the end, and then the fourth one, depending on which way you're counting. So that would be R and W. In this circumstance, I'm going to leave R and RC bridged, and I'm just going to put my leads into R and W. I went ahead and just cut the wires out from the other thermostat because there's no need for those terminals. And then I went ahead and identified the two wires. One has a black stripe and the other has no stripe at all, as you can see. And I'm holding these precariously because I have the battery actually connected. And then I took my multimeter and I just did a quick test on it, and essentially I want to see which side is coming from the battery and which side is going essentially to ground. When I hooked up my common to the one with the stripe, and I hooked up the red to the one that was solid, I got 12.3 volts. If I reversed it, I got negative 12.3 or 12.7 volts. So here I have common hooked up to the solid, and then if I reverse it, I get the reading that I would expect. With that information, I'm going to go ahead and hook the solid white one up to R, and the one with the black stripe, I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the other pin. I believe it's white, W. I got it mounted. I think it's in the correct spots. Those look like they're in there pretty tight. I actually mounted it. I probably should have put a stress release on the wire and zip tied it. Don't know how permanent this is all going to be, so I'm okay with that, and I'm going to test it and see if it's working. So spoiler alert, it works. But essentially this is what's going on. I have the switch to heat, obviously, and I'm just, right now it's indicating 66 degrees. I'm turning it up. Now it says 64. So I want to heat it to 70. The thermostat's thinking about it. Right away it clicks on. And so the fan goes on, but I don't hear any... there it goes. So there goes the igniter. I can hear it warming up. We'll check that in a minute. I got warm air blowing, and I mean there's only one wire, so it's got to work, right? And then, so this system, once that wire is tripped, this system does its own little song and dance. So it's not going to turn off right away. When I remove the heat on icon by changing the temperature, so instead of heating to 70 degrees, I'm going to say, hey, heat to 57. So the thermostat's going to think about it. The thermostat just opened that circuit, and then I can hear that triggered to this, and so this is going to run for a little while and then shut off when it cools down. So it's going to get rid of that propane and cool down the heating elements. So the blower is going to be going on for a couple more minutes. So essentially it's working. One thing I did want to mention about this that I chose, this thing runs on batteries, so it has those 2 AAA batteries, and that's important because it's not requiring any household current. It works with those batteries, and all it's doing is just triggering relays on various relays to have those pins work in a certain fashion, work in concert with your settings. All right, so I'm happy with that. I have the digital readout that I want. I didn't spend any money. This thing was sitting in a drawer, so that was beneficial. Basically, they're less than $20 retail, and it doesn't have any backlights. It doesn't have any, so I don't know if this is going to be a permanent solution, but it's going to get me over the hump. Essentially, what I really wanted to do was just to be able to have that manual switch to flip it off. Having the digital readout is a bonus. I appreciate you guys watching, and thanks for tuning in. Doesn't mean I did it correctly. It's even upside down. There you go.